If you want to hear about St. Louis, tune in to the Bucket List Show weekly. Hear what Marissa and Luke say. It drops every Wednesday. Got a dope new guest every single week. Buckle up for the ride. Who's it gonna be? Who's on the show today? They rep St. Louis. What to do in the loo on a late night, or maybe what to do on a date night. Yeah, Bucket List has you covered. They know what's going on. What's going on? They'll give you, hey, 18 different things to do, or 19 if you need one more to choose. Yeah, this city is a place we call home. A place we call home, yeah.
What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the STL Bucket List Show. I'm your host, Marissa Farrell.
And I am your other host, Luke Farrell. And this is episode 72. I'm pretty sure 72. Yeah, talking to Matt in the back. We couldn't do this show, though, every week consistently without our friends over at the Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis. They're the largest public funder of arts and art programming. And they just gave out their 2023 grants, and they're doing so much to support art in St. Louis. So couldn't do it without them. But today we have a very special episode. We have Darren and Charlene Young on the episode today from the Fattened Caf. You guys have probably heard of them. They're pretty hot right now in St. Louis. Thank you guys for coming on.
No, thanks for having us. Hi, everyone.
What's up, y'all? Happy to be here.
Yeah. So we like to start the episode off pretty organic. So I know it's both of you guys on here. So we want to learn a little bit more about your guys' upbringing. I know you guys aren't originally from St. Louis. So if you want to kind of get into that story a little bit and share some with the people that might not know.
Yeah. You want me to go?
Yeah, go.
Yeah. What's up, y'all? I'm Darren Young, and
I'm Charlene Young.
yes, and we're the owners of the Fattened Caf. I moved to St. Louis in 2011 from a suburb of Los Angeles, Santa Clarita. Didn't know anything about St. Louis outside of Nelly. Vaguely had pictures, images of the St. Louis Arch in my head, but nothing more than that. But I moved here to be involved in youth development with the Salvation Army. That's where I've had a background for most of my adult career, and moved here to work for the Salvation Army in one of their community centers. And then Charlene actually followed me here because we were dating.
By force. No, I'm just
So
kidding.
you were dating prior to 2011, and then you moved. Charlene was sad. She moved with you.
Yes, after she graduated.
No, we knew each other
Oh,
in
you weren't dating?
2011. We just knew each other.
Okay, we
I
weren't
didn't
dating.
move here till 2014.
Oh,
Like, we started dating 2013, like, after some time after you moved.
Yes, that's right.
And then I
that's
was
right.
already out of LA, too.
Yes, so we both left Los Angeles around the same time.
So you were in LA too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you were in Australia for grad school, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
come
tell
on,
us a little bit about what you were doing before you came.
I was living in Australia. I was working for the UN for a bit. I worked with women in the sex industry and working on legislation to prove that the right to sell sex as work did not equate for rights of women because they were still in unsafe environments. So basically legislation to make it safer for women to work in these jobs rather than just kind of say, all bets are off, it's legal, do whatever you want.
Sure.
Still with the concern of the safety for women. So that's what I did. And then I moved to St. Louis soon after. I left that job and moved here.
Nice.
How was that moment? Like when you moved, I'm sure that like there was a lot of, it was probably, it was obviously you were meeting up with Darren and you guys were, dating, but like that moment of moving to a brand new city,
Yeah.
like at that stage of your career, you're like, now I got to start over again, and stuff like that. So tell us about that moment.
I actually loved St. Louis before I knew I was going to live here.
Really?
Yeah. It's really interesting because when I visited, like I knew I wanted to move here. So I lived in Melbourne, and Australia is not as populated as Los Angeles. So it's very similar to St. Louis in that it's a small city. It's still bigger than St. Louis, but like it's a small city if you want it to be. I mean, that's what I really liked about it. Yeah. You don't have to live a fast-paced life. You can in St. Louis. I mean, the amenities are there, but you don't have to. And so I was attracted to St. Louis off the bat.
That's awesome.
So the next question I have is to share your love story, because I mean we have to add when we it's
well,
very
us
rare.
as a married couple that we're talking to another married couple, so we want to hear a little bit about.
It's so rare that we have a couple like on the show. I think it's like been very.
We've probably had like 3 or 4 out of the 70 episodes that were like a married couple.
Right.
So Darren, we'll start with you because it's probably different than Charlene's, but we'll see. Tell us a little bit about your love story, how you guys met, you know, all of it.
Absolutely. Well, we met at church through some mutual friends, and shortly after that I moved to St. Louis, so I sent Charlene some Facebook messages.
I miss you.
Right, basically. And we just kind of kept in contact. We kept in contact over the course of, I think, 2 years, and really was just friends, casual friends. We would hang out on occasion whenever I went back to LA, whenever she went, from Australia, was in LA at the same time. We got together and then
shared In-N-Out. If you guys have never had
Oh,
In-N-Out.
yes.
Burger.
In-N-Out.
Man,
We had it in Vegas.
iconic.
Was that your first date?
I think so, right? In-N-Out Burger.
Well, is it a friend
it
date?
might.
It might have been a friend date,
Yeah.
but In-N-Out Burger.
And not so good.
And I
There's a
taught you
picture on
about chopped
Instagram
peppers.
somewhere.
Yeah, chopped chilies inside your In-N-Out.
I
We'll
do
have to
remember
find the
that.
picture and drop it when the episode drops.
so cute. I love it.
That's awesome. So how did he explain that? What is your version of the love story? Was that accurate?
Yeah, sort of accurate. We hung out. I mean, we knew we liked each other,
Right.
but no one really said anything until later on. And then I knew he liked me when he sent a package to Australia, and it was like a jar filled with like 100 handwritten notes. Oh my gosh, so cheesy.
That
Thinking
is
about
really
it now.
cute. Do you still have the jar?
I do.
Yeah, you
I do.
Yeah,
and
you
it
do.
had like, if you're sad, open a green index card and it would make you laugh. And it was like a link to a YouTube, a funny video, or like,
Oh, come on. Come on, Darren. Chill.
Hey,
Take
you
some
know,
notes.
yeah,
That's
or
really
like
cute.
it'll have like sweet notes, or like if you need to pick me up, open the red index
Yeah.
card and it'll say like, I miss your smile, or like something like that. He doesn't do that now.
Yeah,
But like,
I know. They always start off real
That was
sweet,
when he was.
and then they fade
That was
out because they get
romantic.
comfortable.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
is cute.
especially when distance is like not on your
Yeah.
side. So that's awesome. Okay, so now we're gonna transition to talk about the Fattened Caf and how that came about in your business.
Yeah, so it started through a series of game nights. Darren just started learning how to grill. He had his first grill, which was a Traeger, a really small one that you just kind of plug in, turn on, set and go. And he was like smoking a bunch of pork butts. What's the right term for a pork butt? Because I'm not.
pork shoulder,
Pork
butt,
shoulder. So
either
it's
one.
not really the butt, right? It's the shoulder.
Yeah, it's just the shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, and we had a bunch of pork shoulders in a refrigerator, like tons. This guy would go to Costco and get it by the bulk. So we would have like 6 to 7 packs of pork shoulder. And I was like, Darren, I'm really tired of like eating pork shoulder every day just for like samples. Can we try something different? And so I told him like, let's try Filipino BBQ. And he would just grill a bunch of food. He tried it. We would invite friends over, just feast and have game nights with our friends. And then people started learning about our food. Friends of friends just wanted to order some stuff. People from the church would like, can you cater our church picnic or whatever, just random. My son's graduation didn't even matter.
Yeah.
They just wanted meat that Darren was grilling. And so that's essentially how it started. We were taking time off of work to grill for people, and we're like, I don't know if this is the best decision for us, because like we're using PTO to like cook for someone's birthday that we didn't even know. And then eventually we just started an LLC just to see where it goes. That was like 2017. And we didn't take it seriously till just 2019. So
So were you guys like like word of mouth? People were really into it, and then like were you like promoting it on like your social page, like Facebook, like look at all this pork butt we just made on Sunday, like hit us up?
it was really word of mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it all really started with the word of mouth. It got to a point where, we were cooking so much and we were doing it so frequently, and we kept hearing so much feedback like, man, this is really good. You know, you guys should sell this. You should do this. I mean, you could only hear people tell you that so often until you start to think like, all right, well, maybe we have something special.
Right.
So yeah, it was, 2019, and for some reason we said, all right, maybe this is our year. This is the year where we're actually going to see if we can make this into something. And it was over a casual conversation that Charlene had with the Milk Toast Bar owner, Colleen, who's a friend of ours. Colleen allowed us to do our very first pop-up at Milk Toast Bar in Jefferson, and it was March 2019.
And we had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah, we had no idea what we were doing.
We ran out of rice. Or like rice wasn't cooking right. The line was out the door.
Yep.
We didn't even know how people found out about it really.
About the event. You were like, how did this many people know us?
We had like 100 people on social media following us, or maybe even less. And they were mainly our friends, but like people we didn't know were showing up. And it was like super crowded that night. We were not prepared for it, but it went well. The food was good. Like people loved it. But looking back now, like we had no idea.
So that was the first night you guys decided to go for it, and you're like, all right, let's do it. And then you got your butt kicked, and you're like, okay, let's figure this out. So was that?
I wanted to ask one more. Did you have a name? Were you the Fattened Caf at that point? Where did that name come from?
Darren, you explain this first.
And then ask yours. Sorry.
Yeah. So it took us a while to actually come up with a name because, we knew we wanted it to be something barbecue focused and something that could almost share, my identity and Charlene's identity as well. And then we landed on the name, the Fattened Caf, even though we knew that there was a Fatted Caf in St. Louis years ago that closed. There's apparently a famous burger place that was around many years ago, and they closed. I mean, I don't even remember when they closed, but it was a while back. But we landed on the name The Fattened Caf because we felt that this kind of shared our values, and it somewhat told our story. The name actually comes from the story of the prodigal son. The son returns, and the father begins to celebrate over the son's return through a feast, a communal feast of celebration. And for us, the Fattened Caf, what it is to us is us using our unique gifts and talents and leveraging that for the sake of community to bring people together over food and fellowship. What we, I guess, are doing, neither Charlene and I, we didn't go to school for this. In fact, we did one semester of culinary school, and that was in 2019, right before our first child. But this is not anything that we ever saw we would be doing, but this is us just kind of putting together our natural strengths and gifts and talents and trying to figure out how we can leverage that for us, but also for the community, and sharing that with the community. So we really believe in that, and we believe in the name, the Fattened Caf, and that's where it comes from.
Yeah, that was very, very, very well said. So yeah, first of all, that's the way the best things happen is they happen by accident. And if you try too hard to make something work, sometimes it doesn't feel natural and you're overdoing it. So you guys kind of so 2019, you did the first pop-up. Did you have that aha moment? How quick after that were you like, okay, we got to make a decision, either we have to quit our jobs or we have to go for this? How quick did that come after that first pop-up, you think?
Oh man, we were living off of a high from that first pop-up for a really long time. We're like, we want to do it again. We want to do it again.
It was the most fun you had.
Even though it was stressful, it was
all
these
stressful.
things.
We're like, man, people love the food. People want Filipino barbecue. This is awesome. And there was a group of Filipino students from SLU, a bunch of Filipinos in the same room that I've never seen or experienced in St. Louis before, because I'm not from here. So I'm not involved with Filipino associations or Filipino American groups or clubs or whatever they are. So that was my first experience of feeling like I was in LA again, or that my identity wasn't so misunderstood. And so we wanted to keep doing it again. And we went back to Colleen. We're like, let's book it for every Saturday. She's like, slow down. You don't want to do that, which was probably like the best advice we've received from her. And I think we didn't do it till like the other month after, right?
Yeah, we did.
Skipped months.
And you did it back at Milk and Toast.
Yeah, Milk Toast again, like 2 more times. And then one day we were walking by Earthbound Beer, and we said, we want to make it there. Because it was like the next big thing, right? Like,
well, we also live on Cherokee Street.
Yeah, we live on Cherokee Street.
Those are the places that you would see, and you're like, oh, that would be a really cool
spot.
Yeah.
And we were a part of the Cherokee Street Farmers Market for a season.
I didn't even know they had a farmers market.
They don't have it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It didn't last very long, but
it was really small. There's like 4 vendors.
Okay, yeah.
It could have been something great, but it takes a lot to run a farmer's market. So it didn't last very long. But the people who were running it did the best job that they can.
They did.
Sure.
They did. And it allowed us to have a platform because we went from doing pop-ups at Milk Toast to doing pop-ups at the Cherokee Street Farmers Market, which is, our neighborhood, our community, our street that we live on. And then right across the street was Earthbound Beer, where we, at the time, were just dreaming about, partnership with them. So.
Yeah.
And that happened. And when did that happen with Earthbound?
Yeah. That happened later that year. Probably, 6-7 months after that initial conversation between Charlene and I. We did our first pop-up at Earthbound, I want to say in November 2019. Yeah.
And that was like, their space is so beautiful.
Yes.
And it's just their patio.
It's really
and their upstairs
unique.
lawn.
Yeah.
It's really unique.
And you guys have been rocking with them solid, I guess, through then. I mean, even through COVID and all that. Like, what was that transition like with you guys in COVID? I mean, did you guys just stop pop-ups all or is that when you shifted more towards products or?
Yeah. We shifted towards Kamayan boxes. So we would put Filipino food inside pizza boxes, and we would give that through the to-go window, and people could just have a Filipino feast eating with their hands at home. And then that only lasted so long before we were like, okay, we need to shut down and kind of regroup. So we took the whole month of April off, and then we were making sausages like we made sausages all our lives. We were cranking out 100 or so pounds of sausages a week to just kind of figure out how to make it right. The flavors that we wanted. Darren figured out the recipe. He gave himself 2 weeks of nonstop research and development. We didn't know how to stuff sausages back then, but we were learning as we went. We were stuffing them. We were grinding the meat, seasoning that thing, stuffing, casing,
in your
smoking.
House?
Yeah.
And you guys were just your house was just filled with hundreds of pounds.
My daughter was just asleep on the couch and the vacuum seal was going off super loud, but she was a trooper. She would just sleep through the whole thing.
Yeah. She's like, this is my life
now.
we'd
be up till 3 a.m. trying to figure it out. Oh my gosh, the sausages we ate, so much sausages. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It's went from pork butts to sausages.
I know, I was just about to say, we transitioned.
You live in seasons.
It was also the season of COVID where everything shut down, So we went from having, our biggest pop-ups ever, and just the most amazing traction the Fattened Caf had ever seen in November, December, and then in January.
Earthbound Beer.
Yeah, we pack out Earthbound Beer. There'd be a line out the door, line down the street, down the block. It was incredible.
Nuts. It was nuts.
And at this point, we had committed to a once-a-month pop-up with Earthbound. And, they were asking us, hey, do more. We'd love to have you. And we were like, oh, man,
they were selling so many beers, too.
Oh, yeah, it was
Great
incredible.
Combo.
Yeah. And then our biggest pop-up was in, I want to say February of 2020. The biggest event we had to date, or at that moment. And a month later, that's when COVID hit, and the world changed. Everything shut down. So we were trying to figure out, okay, well, what do we do with our time? And at this point, no one would have ever predicted that we were going to be in a pandemic for more than a year,
Never.
right? we were thinking just a few weeks,
Right.
maybe a couple months. It just
Yeah.
seemed like,
And you're like,
know,
I'll take this time to get better. and then we'll come back.
yeah. So we were like, all right, let's learn some things, let's refine some things. And 1 week turned into 2 weeks, and that turned into 4 weeks to 8 weeks and beyond. But we were trying to just stay busy. We weren't making a lot of sales or a lot of money during this time, but we were still in the dreaming phase. And out of the pandemic, that's how we pivoted towards packaged goods. And if it wasn't for the pandemic, we would probably never started this side of the business. And I think that being able to focus on products ended up being a game changer for us. And I think will continue to change a lot for us in the future.
Do you want to talk about more of your products, your sauces, your sausages? Do you have an event, a drop?
Oh, yeah. So tomorrow, July 4th, we're actually doing a limited drop for our sausages, which are going to ship nationwide. So we have 4 flavors of our sausages: spicy chicken, spicy pork, sweet chicken, and sweet pork. We also have 4 bottles now of Filipino-style sauces and marinades. So you have a regular barbecue marinade, barbecue sauce made with real bananas, a spicy marinade, and our spiced vinegar. Yeah.
Wow. Can't wait for that.
And we have them all at home.
We do
So
have them
y'all
all.
need to get some too.
We do have them all.
So I want to talk a little bit about because you mentioned earlier how Fattened Caf it's a representation of both of you and who you are. And so when you started, what was your vision originally? I know you said, you were just doing it. You were just having, friends over and game night. But what was the vision and how has that been executed to kind of where you are now?
Can I add this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go
So
for it.
we actually were both in a program through UMSL called Neighborhood Leadership Academy. And
Are you going to quote a book?
no, I'm not.
Okay.
No. However, I think the Fattened Caf really, our initial thought for starting the Fattened Caf was because I was deeply involved in youth development work. We wanted to figure out a way that we could employ some of the youth that we were working with in the community. And I thought, maybe if we had some kind of side business or side hustle, we could employ some of the young people in the neighborhood. Now, Charlene, you might tell a different story, but it was through NLA, Neighborhood Leadership Academy, where we really, for the first time, kind of mapped out this business plan. And I think the start of it was really birthed out of this idea of hiring young people and employing them and kind of teaching them how to run a business. But before we could do that, we needed to know how to run a business ourselves. So,
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
That's a good starting point. I wouldn't have thought that would start there because our initial thought was just, we want to build community and we want to build it through food. And what do we do best is cook and grill Filipino food. And so we wanted a space that was a fattier, heftier version of a cafe. So people could come in, work, have lunch, dinner, whatever, meetings, but it's still
A full
nourishing
meal.
meals,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't like a restaurant where you got to sit and go.
Yeah.
We wanted people to hang out and chill and
Enjoy.
have good food and then just carry on with their day.
Yeah. So what does that mean to your guys' culture of being able to combine both of those together and seeing the impact? So now we're looking at, 2019, you just celebrated basically the 4 years of that pop-up just a few months ago, so what does that mean? And it's probably a difficult question to answer, but looking back on it now, seeing those people that line up, now it's so different than the first time. You're oh my gosh, I've never seen that person. I've never seen that. Your guys' impact goes way beyond just the food itself. There's people that use your sauces that you've never met before in your life.
Right.
And that's when you actually are building something special.
That you're exposing to trying something new out of other people's comfort zone,
So the question was, what does that mean to you personally of how that, is correlated with your guys' culture and being able to show people that?
Yeah, for me, it really means representation. Like, I shop in regular grocery stores. I mean, I shop in international grocery stores because that's where I find my foods. But to be able to go to a mainstream grocery store and find something that I identify with, like a longanisa, that's pretty cool to me. And then I'm sure there's people who are like me, who grew up eating longanisa at home, who no longer have to just go to the international grocery store in the corner, but can go to, Fresh Time, or like a larger chain grocery stores and find Filipino style sausages there. Like that feels like home to anyone, right? Because now they feel seen, they can identify with something, and they can frequent that space and not feel like a stranger or an outsider. So that feels really, really good for me. And we try to make it easy for people to make Filipino food at home so that my culture just doesn't stay within my people. It gets celebrated and embraced by others as well. And that's one of our goals, and it feels really good to be able to do that.
Yeah, you guys are doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
And you have 2 little ones that are watching you guys and essentially a part of this. They get to see mom and dad working. So like, what does food mean to your family? Food, it means so much to every family individually. So what about you guys bringing up your kids around it?
Yeah, Darren always talks about legacy. Maybe he can talk about it more because he puts it really, really well. Yeah.
Do I really? I don't know when I'm supposed to stay here. But I don't know. Ownership, I think, means something to me. It's important. Being able to own something and being able to pass it off to my kids, or even to share that with the people of St. Louis. I think that's valuable to me. And creating legacy is important. And I think, again, when thinking through the St. Louis community, or even a lot of the young people that I get to see every day across Cherokee Street, they need to see, I'll say this specifically, they need to see young Black men who are out there doing it, figuring it out, and I'm glad that I can get to be a part of that story, just learning how to build something with my 2 hands, and I know there's a lot of work that comes with that. It's not as easily said than done, but we're learning that we can do this, and we're learning that the St. Louis community wants something like this, and they're embracing us. So yeah. So, and we get to model that, we get to model that, and that's special to me.
In your house and in your community.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
Amazing.
That's amazing. So the question I want to ask is working together with your spouse. Obviously, it's not easy. We do it. Marissa has another job as well, and she's in education as well. She's a high school teacher, but I'm full-time with the business, but we still work together. Obviously, we're working together right now. But tell us about those challenges of working together with your spouse, because not only are you working together at home and during the day, but you're also working together on a busy Saturday when it's rush hour, and you guys are in the kitchen together or wherever.
And you're trying to go on date night on Wednesday, and sometimes you're
and
like,
you skipped it last week, I heard, so you got to make up for it this week, my guy. Come on now.
Let's just do date night, and it's hard to separate.
So first, let's start with some of the struggles, if you guys want to share anything of being, because a lot of people work together with their spouse, and I'm sure it'll be insightful for them. So don't hold nothing back.
Yeah, for sure. I'll say it's really, really hard when you're both so passionate about what you're doing, and you both have great ideas, and you don't want to back down from ideas because you feel so strongly that it's the best idea there is out there. So I think that's a struggle, to turning it off, because sometimes your best ideas may be when you're at home during the shower and you get out and it's like 10 o'clock and you're like, I need to tell you what I just thought about. Or it's like 12 and you're like, this awesome idea, we should just work on this and this is how we're going to do it and here's a plan. And it's like, well, your partner's already shut off, right?
Yeah.
Like not everyone's working at this time. Not everyone should be working at this time, but learning how to balance when to have business discussions and when to just be a spouse, like you're my husband or my wife or whatever. Like, I think those two things are really hard. And then I can go on, but I'll do another
No,
third
that's
one.
very accurate.
I got a list in my phone. Hold on.
Let me pull up my notes.
No, those are two really good ones.
Yeah,
though, I
and
think.
like communication styles, like how we receive information, how we receive constructive criticism or feedback also matters, and how you give them is a really big thing, because it could be one word or like one incident that sets each other off. That's like, well, like you didn't see me at this moment, or like I feel belittled when you did this. And, like there's so many things, because you're not just coworkers, you're partners in life, and all of that is connected. So yeah, I feel like it takes a different ball game to work with your spouse. It's great because you can make amazing things together, right? Like we have 2 beautiful kids. I love our home. I love when we're not working and we're like able to just hang out and chat. When we're on vacation, we're super great. I love our time together. And then when I'm working with Darren, it's also like 50-50. It could go either way. Like, am I going to love this day or am I not?
Right.
Just because there's so many other factors involved, and like the legacy that we're trying to build is on the line, right?
Yeah.
Like we poured so much hard work, sweat and tears into the Fattened Caf. It would really suck to just let it all crumble. So because it weighs so much, it means so much that it could easily hurt each other. So
But you're even stronger together doing it together. It'd be hard to do this alone.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know
We
it
bring
would.
in different
Yeah, sure.
gifts.
Yeah.
I'm not the grill master. Just Darren was gone for a whole month and I had to be on the grill, and I was like, oh man, I took this guy for granted. The whole time I was on the grill, I was like,
Hey, that
never
was a good
again
one.
will I
That's
be
good.
like, what are you doing back there?
Right.
Meats need to be out now. Never
And some
again.
of the details though are different. With this, some people might be better at other things, and it's the legacy. Like building it together is so much more special than building it by yourself. So.
Yeah. I do want to hear what you have to say, though.
Yeah, she's like,
Your turn.
To be honest, whatever she said.
there you
Good
go.
answer.
I mean,
Answer.
I honestly think Charlene does a better job, like separating, our business life and having boundaries around our marriage. That's definitely something that I need to work on. But she does a really good job of saying like, hey, we're not working right now, so can we not talk about the business? I'm like, oh yeah, you're right.
I struggle with that
Yeah,
too.
right.
Yeah.
You're not like, oh yeah. You're like, oh, fine.
I know. That's how I am. I always tell Luke, like, it's not that time right now.
I'm so obsessed though. Like I'm like literally like I'll work 20 hours a day every day.
It's him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
But not like
you know,
hard work.
we're-
I'll just be
It's
like
not a
on my
bad
phone,
thing.
like doing something. I'm working.
It's not a
Yeah.
bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. It's good that you guys want to provide for your family.
right.
But you're not going to have a family to provide for if you keep it up that way.
Right? No, you're
No, that's just being real,
100%.
right? Like we
No,
need
that's
our
facts.
partners to also be present
Yeah.
in our marriage, and if not more present in our marriage, so that we can like energize each other and recharge each other, so we're like good workers together. You know,
That makes sense.
100%.
that's my TED talk.
100%. Well done. That's right. Yep. Facts.
what she said.
I was like,
And it
Darren,
was-
did she
and it
cut
was
you off there?
said. And it was said.
Yeah, what she said.
Oh, really?
That's
So, what advice would you guys give to someone who is wanting to start their own business or take the leap, or is like, man, I've got this like thing down really well. Like, should I go all in or not? Like someone who's skeptical to like take the leap. What would you guys say to that
Yeah.
person?
I would say leverage your gifts and your passions and start there, and the rest will follow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say, because I'm a data person, I'm pretty analytical too. Do the math. Be realistic before taking that leap. Like that leap looks really, really good. It's great to work for yourself, but really do the math, because you don't want to set yourself up either to just kind of scavenge for stuff, right? Like if you own a business, you have to be able to say no to certain things that are not for you. But if you are pressed for finances, for resources, you will take every job there is. And it might not be for you, and you'll break your back doing it. So like do the math, find out if you're actually capable of taking that leap right away, And if so, do it, right? Like if you can provide for yourself, do it. But if not, take the time. It's okay to take the time to grow your business and grow organically and sustainably. It doesn't make you lesser of an entrepreneur because you took 5 years to build your business than someone who took a year to do it. It just means that your resources are not there and it takes more time to do it. That's all that it means. But as long as your business is alive 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, then you're doing the right thing. There's no specific timeline for stuff.
frame.
I
And
think
that's
the
in
hardest
life.
thing. I
In
think that's the
life,
hardest
right?
thing with entrepreneurship is you look at these people online and they're like build your business to 7 figures in 12 months. And it's like you get dismotivated by it when you see stuff like that. But then if you actually talk to people and you actually ask for help, that would be one of my biggest things of advice that I didn't do 4 years ago is I didn't really ask for that much help. And that would be a real easy thing to do is ask people. Like if somebody sees you guys, they ask you a question, you're going to answer the question. You're going to give them the best advice you can.
Absolutely.
So whoever's listening, send them a message, ask them for help.
I got one more to add to that too.
Yeah.
I think this has been game changer for us. Do not be afraid of the answer no. Never be afraid of the answer no, and keep pursuing, keep asking, keep knocking at a door until you get an answer. And pursue people in a diplomatic way, of course. Like don't stalk them, don't harass them.
But be persistent.
Yeah, be persistent and work for that answer. And especially don't be afraid for people to say no.
That's a good one. Yeah, it
Those
hurts.
are all good things.
Those first
guys.
no's hurt, but now they feel good because you're like, I know that yes is coming and it's gonna, or they're gonna come back. And those are the best when they come back and they knock on your door and you're like,
Absolutely.
okay, I'm doing it now. Do you got any more?
This episode's going to come out on the 11th.
Yeah.
Which will be your work anniversary.
Yeah.
When you started your business.
Happy anniversary.
4 years.
I think it's 3.
It's 4.
Okay.
2019.
Is 2019 4?
Yeah, it's 4 years now.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah, so 4 years. In 4 years, this
And
feels
you
like
guys
a
are
long
dropping
time.
all facts right now.
Yeah,
Perfect.
4 years feels like a long time, but it still feels like I'm just getting started. I mean, we're 27, so we still have a lot of time to go. But I just I'm like you said, I'm obsessed. I'm just.
You guys are 27?
Yeah.
We'll be 28.
We'll be 28.
Oh my
I've been rounding up. I'm like, we're 28. Yeah.
How old do you think we look? Do we look older than 27?
Younger.
No,
What do you
I
think?
thought you guys were like 30.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Ooh,
Well,
nice.
you guys are super
I'll take
mature.
it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
granny
like
in
looking
the
forward to
room.
looking up.
The
Like,
granny.
I'm looking.
I know you're tired yet. It's almost time for nap. But no, for real though. So guys, it is the STL Bucket List Show. We could talk to you guys all day, but people attention spans are short, so we'll wrap it up. But it's the STL Bucket List Show. It really means to us highlighting the people, places, and events that make St. Louis special.
You got it.
You guys are not from St. Louis, but tell us what your idea of an STL bucket list day for you would be. So this could include your favorite places to eat, parks, favorite things to do.
Date,
Let's say
family
you guys are all
day.
off. Okay, so date night on Wednesday, that would be a good spot. Like, what are your favorite date nights? But if your family is all off on a Saturday, which you're never off on a Saturday, are you? No. Okay,
Not
so a
right
Sunday?
now, please.
Sunday? Never off on a Sunday.
Sunday.
Some Sundays.
Sunday.
So
Every Sunday.
go to church. What are you doing after church? What are some spots? Give us some ideas of what you would call your STL bucket list. It's not like something that you have to do before you die. Like, it's just like,
Yeah,
hey, what are
yeah.
things that you guys love doing?
With
in
the
St. Louis?
family or just the two of us?
Well, let's start
You
with
could
date
do
night.
both.
Let's start with date night.
All
Because
right,
Wednesday
all right.
date nights, what do you guys, what's your favorite spots for date night?
We like good food.
Good food. I'm a foodie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I eat for
Sato
entertainment.
was really good this past one. We went
That's
to
what you guys went the
Sato
past
and the
one.
desserts. Darren loved that strawberry crunch
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
panna they had.
Sato's on another
so
level.
cute.
They're
Yes.
crazy.
I
Yes.
crave it every day
They're
of my
crazy.
life.
Shout out Nick
Yes.
over there. They kill it over there.
I'm also excited for Top Golf.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be
I
fun.
like doing activities.
Oh,
but
the
we're
one in the
also-
city? You're excited about the one in
Yeah,
the
the
city?
one in
Yeah.
the town
Yeah.
coming.
But we're also pretty basic when it comes to dating because we just like movie and a dinner. I mean,
Yeah.
dinner and a movie.
I love movies.
Me too.
Like at the theater or at
Yeah.
home?
I mean, I could.
You guys
I
been to the
prefer,
Alamo yet?
Yes, we have.
The Alamo's
It's really great.
nice.
Nice.
You
It
spent
was
hella
nice.
money in there though.
Yeah.
I was like,
I know,
I had a bill for
there. Some
120.
wings.
I had a bill for like 120. I'm like, dang, dude, I can't be doing this at the movies right now. I need to go on Netflix right now.
And make it easy.
That's so funny. But yeah, a good dinner and a movie is like a great date night for us.
That's good. That's simple. Yeah.
Yeah, simple. Family though, I mean,
What are your kids' favorite spots to eat?
okay, so they like Songbird. My daughter loves the sandwiches there.
Really?
Really,
That's
really
such a
good.
good spot.
So after church, we
Cute.
probably go to Songbird or Lona's Little Eats.
Yep.
Um,
It's a cute patio there.
we'll drive to like Lone Elk Park or
Okay.
go to the aquarium or the science center.
Yeah.
There's a lot of free stuff to do in St. Louis for kids.
Yes.
Did you know Purina Farms is free too? I did
know
not know that, but they're
Really?
free, and you can like milk a cow.
Oh, that's
Like any
cool.
outdoor stuff, my kids would really enjoy it. And then come back home and just do like a movie on Netflix and dinner and popcorn.
Disney movie or something.
Yeah,
Something good.
yeah.
Nice. That's so cute. I love it.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Just time.
Yeah,
Just time together.
exactly.
That's cool. So, guys, go out and support the Fattened Caf. If you want to let us know how people can support you, how they can follow you, maybe drop your website, drop your social links,
Yeah, follow us at the Fattened Caf on Instagram, and that's CAF, C-A-F, short for cafe. Our website is thefattencaf.com, where you can buy our sauces and our longanisa, Filipino-style sausages. And Facebook is the same, the Fattened Caf.
Perfect.
Thank you, guys. I do want to ask one more thing before we wrap up. What is your long-term vision for the Fattened Caf? Do you guys have? I'm sure you have that planned out. I know a lot of the. And I know we didn't talk about any of the grants you guys got and all the amazing awards, so congratulations on all those. We just got busy like talking about life and stuff, but congratulations on all the grants. But what is the long-term vision? Restaurants? Is it the sauces? Is it scaling? Like, I know you guys have this planned out, but just give our audience just a little idea of what your guys' long-term vision is.
Long-term vision is definitely both. Okay. Like, I can't separate the two. Yeah. I feel like you can't have the Fattened Caf now without knowing that we also provide consumer packaged goods in grocery stores. My vision is that Darren takes over like all the restaurant stuff, the scaling of it, the growth, all of that. And then I just continue to work on the consumer packaged goods. Okay. My goal is to get us in Costco in the next 5 years, hopefully, if that's possible, at least possible. Nationwide grocery stores. And then Darren, do you want to say anything about the restaurant side?
Let's keep growing.
Yeah, we can't wait till you guys have a restaurant. But although people can see you guys every weekend, though, but something special about that, the physical ownership of something, you know, and that'll come soon. So maybe soon, but it'll come.
It'll come.
Well, thank you guys so much. You did great. Everyone, go out, get the products, go into Earthbound, get a plate with a beer, and just have a good time. So.
See you guys next week. Thank you. This episode specifically is presented by The Wine and Cheese Place, which has been locally owned and operated since 1982. The Wine and Cheese Place has 5 different St. Louis area locations in Town and Country, Creve Coeur, Kirkwood, Clayton, and their newest location, Spirit Wine and Craft in South City. The Wine and Cheese Place and Spirit and Craft carry 5,000 plus wines, 1,200 beers, 1,000 whiskeys, hundreds of cheeses, and plus a great selection of specialty food and gifts. They support local whenever possible too. If you go into their sections, they always have a Made in STL section. Plus, their staff is educated and they know just about everything you need to know about spirits, wine, and even cheese. So stop into one of their 5 St. Louis area locations, or you can go directly to their website and order online at thewineandcheeseplace.com.
Today they rep St. Louis, yeah. They rep St. Louis. They rep St. Louis.